Hello, my name is Dr. Susan Rux, and I'm the Dean of Academic Affairs at Chamberlain North Brunswick campus. I'm delighted that you are here with us today as we talk to you about interdepartmental collaboration, using improvisation as a strategy to support your stage partners. With me today, I'd like to introduce my stage partners. The first is Mr. John Cassell. He is our Student Services Supervisor. And then we also have Ms. Wanda Daniels-Moore, who is the Clinical Coordination Specialist at the North Brunswick campus.
Thanks so much for having us, Sue. It's funny, when you invited me to this, I kind of think about our relationship and just how we tend to improv on a daily basis, kind of making up songs. And it's just a testament to, I think, kind of our relationships on campus. And I'm so glad that you invited Wanda as well. So
absolutely.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, we oftentimes would find ourselves around the water cooler or the coffee maker, just doing some riffs about, what was happening in the day. And I love improv. And, I know that you also had taken some formal training in improv, as have I.
Sure.
Improv, it was a liberal arts and sciences kind of niche, but higher education really has a place for it, especially nursing education. When we think about simulations and really practicing therapeutic communication with patients and all of those role-playing scenarios. I think it's going to be an avant-garde approach that we're going to see more and more. In 2015, North Brunswick opened its doors to the first students. And now here we are, we're sitting 2020, and we're over 1,000 students and growing more and more every 16 weeks that we have, a new enrollment period. And when we talked last week, we were kind of, talking about this session and kind of brainstorming through where we've been and where we're going. I remember coming to the campus in 2017 when I started as the DAA, and at that time we didn't even have 200 students. So to think in like a little over 3 years, here we are, over 1,000 students and growing. We have an evening weekend program that we just started in May of 2020. And so like the growth, to say the word exponential, I think that would be appropriate.
Sure.
And it's not a problem. So I won't even say it's a good problem to have. It's an excellent kind of existence that we're all kind of navigating through. Would you agree? Yeah,
I agree.
I definitely agree. Yeah.
And I think that's what's unique about Chamberlain, because every 8 weeks there's a new challenge, which is awesome. And we're so grateful to be part of this community of care.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, challenge, opportunity, all of those kind of buzzwords. And at the end of it, and I think John mentioned it the last time we were together, we're all here for the number one reason. The number one reason is the students, getting them, to fulfill what we've promised and committed to them, which is, they want their lives changed. They want to have that experience as an extraordinary Chamberlain graduate and an RN one day. And, some of our students that have already graduated are back in grad school. I've gotten emails from them asking me to do like letters of recommendation. And that is totally what's filling my cup.
Definitely. Yeah, I think what's interesting, right, with thinking about collaboration, obviously within departments, but also within students, I think what really changed everything for me in approaching student services was looking at the student as a partner and exactly in that shared goal, right? If we have a shared goal of success within the program and graduation, and obviously with NCLEX to go on, it just changes that collaboration piece entirely. So.
Yeah, I mean, what I noticed, I want to stay in that space just for a little bit, John.
Sure.
You guys being one of the first touch points when they get through the admissions cycle. Student services is one of the first really meaningful touch points, the differentiator, if you will, of what that student experience is going to look like. I want you to share, because I already know your secret sauce. I want you to share what that secret sauce is of, making the students from, newly admitted, fresh into the program, to retaining them to their goal attainment and what that looks like.
Yeah, definitely. So you pretty much hit it spot on of kind of our student services two primary focuses, which is new students and then continuing students. I think with our campus growth, especially our team growth, there was really no other way to go about it than saying that yes and piece, right? We're continuously tasked, and for the better. I don't want to make it sound like it's any kind of burden, but we're tasked with just the student population growth and our team size. So much like you, Sue, we started, I think, in the same year. I was maybe like a month or two before you, and our student service team went from 3 advisors, we're up to like 8 advisors and a manager now, so it's pretty crazy. What's been really nice, and to talk about new students, is that we have partnered up and really kind of overhauled a lot of processes that were just not substantial enough for this volume, and we partnered with the admissions team specifically, so for new students. So with our admissions team, we were fortunate enough to see that Chamberlain kind of intentionally put this growth model where an admissions advisor would join the team, and then on the back end, we know that that admissions advisor will be bringing in students that they need to be supported with student services. So we had the same growth in student services to match that. And when we were able to match the growth in both teams, we decided to go with a more super teams model where every admissions advisor is going to be linked up with a student service advisor. So that handoff with students, we can really kind of approach much more holistically. So the student is developing a relationship with a team, a collaborative effort right from the start, which we know that connected piece, right? Mm-hmm. We always have conversations about connectedness, especially given, kind of where we are now in this virtual setting. It's such a focus. So through that partnership with admissions, we're able to just form a connection with these students in a relationship that really fosters our ability to advise and support and have those difficult conversations that sometimes come up later on. And then where we really would like to then try to tie it in is that I think, Wanda knows, student services is really integrated with so many departments on campus. So new students, that's just the piece where we're working primarily with admissions, but it so quickly translates then through that relationship to you and your team. So I always think about the amount of tasks that you guys have in your team within academics, and I just wonder, like, what you do. You have such a large team. What do you do with your team to really establish that preparation aspect to set your team up for success so that then the students can ultimately be successful as well?
Well, thanks, John. Before I get into the response about what the academic team does to kind of key up the students for success, there were so many things from what you shared that, I'd be remiss if I didn't touch upon the connectedness and the sense of belonging. Why I want to highlight that is the research is out there when we think about new nurses, entry-level nurses to practice. The organizations that hire them, they want to retain them too. So the data that is out there says that if a new nurse is not felt welcome or a sense of belonging within their organization within the first 90 days, they may end up leaving that organization, transferring to a new unit. And if they've had such a horrible experience, which we would hope they wouldn't, they may end up leaving the profession that they always dreamed of altogether. So I think setting the tone with us in their, formative education is really essential to have them be connected, not just with us, but with one another. And especially in a campus that is a commuter campus, if you will, right? Sure. So like we have to think outside the box, and we have to really employ different strategies that maybe other schools, other higher education organizations aren't necessarily thinking about. So
you may say we have to improvise other strategies.
I think we do every day, every day. Um, the academic team, like you already kind of alluded to, we've seen growth. Of course we have. We have. The most important thing I guess I can say is to start us off right. Talent acquisition gets the best candidates in front of us, the very best candidates. And then we hire the very best candidates, whether it's faculty, visiting professors, student learning specialists, academic leaders.
Sure.
Our end game is getting the students to the finish line in a better place than when they started. And not only completion of the program, but passing NCLEX on the first try. We don't want to mess with any other tries, just the first try. And then, securing a job of their dreams. And we do have an excellent career services specialist that really helps in that space. We've used, very similar to what your student services and admissions team has, those super teams. Yep. We've kind of stolen or acquired that super team concept in academics too. So, the student learning specialist and faculty are paired, getting their arms around the students and really success planning every step of the way of what sort of ingredients, very tailored ingredients the student might need to offer that sort of support. And I'm not talking about just the academic support. I mean, there's a lot of non-academic factors that you can never think about, right? I mean, our current pandemic, we could not have even planned for this. But let me say that every one of the campus colleagues, it really took a village, and the village was us. Within a weekend, we pivoted acutely to make literally, right? To make sure that the students did not miss a beat. And Dr. Goodrich, our campus president, she conducts town halls. So the town halls are with the students. We invite the students in, let's showcase some of the really great things the campus is doing. But we also want to hear from you students about what's going on. Overwhelmingly, the comments that the students have shared with us were thankful, gratitude about they got to progress. They got to continue their education. And really, it was quite seamless. They didn't really feel that there was anything lacking with their education. And they were very grateful that, their graduation date didn't get bumped out or back. Gosh, that's so important, and it's back to keeping our commitment to them,
Yeah. I think about not only with our transition to this virtual format, but just most recently, Wanda, what you've been tasked with clinical coordination and kind of this interim period of half back to clinical, not quite back to clinical. It's pretty crazy. And honestly, within my team, I mean, and hopefully you heard it personally too, but our team, we had so many interactions with students where they were thankful for how it was managed, how it was handled, how we really kind of just involved them and took into consideration their own circumstance, right? Not every student is maybe has the ability to return. So
absolutely, John. I'm so glad you touched upon that. I mean, we had to do a lot of improvising, so to speak.
Sure.
With clinical, now we're using the hybrid option, which is wonderful because we do have those students who would like to have hands-on experience. And then we still have students, because of COVID, that would still like to stay virtual. So our clinical partners have been very helpful, accommodating to Chamberlain as a whole. So we are really, really glad and express our gratitude to our clinical partners. So thank you.
We talk about relationships. So all through this discussion, one thing that just kind of rose to the top for me is relationships. And Wanda, you just mentioned about relationships with the clinical partners. We have clinical partners in Pennsylvania as well as up and down the coast of New Jersey. Oh, yeah. I am certain that it is a feat not only to kind of acquire them, but also maintain them, keep them happy. I know that several of our clinical partners sit on the North Brunswick campus board of trustees with Dr.
That's
Goodrich.
Correct.
And and they share really excellent stories about what they see in our students and, the professional demeanor. But I wondered if you would be able to kind of elaborate a little bit and share with us what it really takes to not only acquire, but maintain and keep those partners satisfied.
Sure, sure. Good question, Susan. So first, we do a lot of research. There is an abundance amount of research that goes into securing a clinical partner. And John, as you mentioned earlier, you kind of utilize the super teams, and we do as well from the clinical coordination standpoint. We speak with academics. We collaborate with our academic team. Sue, as you know, we also do a lot of collaboration with the career services advisor on campus, because sometimes we may share the same partner, but we can't actually cultivate a relationship with the right person. So that's where the networking portion comes into play with career services. But, let's go back to the research. So we're always, looking online, making sure that the particular facility that we're interested in is going to be a benefit to our students. So we have to make sure that the curriculum, our students can receive a robust experience. So that's where going over the curriculum gets involved. We share that information with our academics partner. If we are kind of up and down with this particular clinical partner that we're trying to secure, we speak with that academics to make sure that that particular partner is going to be beneficial to us. So once we have all our research, again, we have to ensure that they're no more than 100 miles from campus. That can include, just as Susan said, it can tie into Pennsylvania as well as New Jersey. We have clinical partners from Southern New Jersey all the way up to Northern New Jersey. So we do have a vast amount of clinical partners. We have maybe about close to 100 partners that we maintain. And we're still, trying to secure additional clinical partners. So the first thing that we do after our research, we try to schedule an appointment, whether that's via phone, through email, and then we meet with the chief nursing officer, the director of nursing, the facilities administrators, whoever is that key person that we actually need to speak to in regards to securing the contract. We have that meeting. Sometimes we may bring donuts, coffee, just to kind of smooth them over a little bit. That always helps. And thereafter, yes, John?
I was just saying food,
yes.
It's eating my heart.
It's always near and dear to our clinical partners' heart, especially Dunkin' Donuts and Starbucks.
Sure.
So once that meeting is held, we make sure that we send the contract up to our legal department. That's another entity that we have deep collaborations with. Legal counsel is very important because we have to ensure that our policies and our procedures are maintained to the best of the ability for the students. We have to ensure that our insurance policy is going to be robust for our students, and just in case something was to happen during clinical. And then that's when the scheduling piece comes into play, where we sit down and we collaborate with student services to ensure that the lecture days as well as the clinical days don't kind of coincide with one another. So after they actually start clinical, we are still maintaining and cultivating those relationships. So that's on an ongoing basis. It never stops. As we kind of mentioned earlier during one of our meetings, the unique thing about Chamberlain is that every 8 weeks, we have a new session, we have new courses, and we have new opportunities to secure additional partnerships. And that's the great challenge, which is a good challenge because we're steadily growing. And the more clinical partners that we have, that's the more the opportunities for our students, and it gives them a vast variety.
Sure. One day, actually, it's so funny. I think about it, and the three of us, you mentioned briefly at the end. So what's funny to me first is that I think about listening to all of the things that you're doing on a day-to-day basis, and then kind of tying it back to how at the start of this, we talked about just the student, right, being our unifying goal. And you do all of those things and I still can bring you a sticky note with a one-off of being like, Wanda, like, can we do something here? We need like another,
Yes.
and it's just awesome, our ability to kind of just have that relationship amongst us on a campus level to always support. And then I also
Yeah.
think about sorry, Wanda, go ahead.
That's okay. No, I was just going to just piggyback off of what you were saying. I think because we, all three of us, as well as all of the colleagues on campus, we're so passionate about what we do, and we're always putting the student first. So no matter how many sticky notes that you bring back to the office, I'm always going to have an answer for you.
I think about the second piece of what you kind of wrapped up with was that scheduling meeting, right, Sue? It's like our campus and tying back into the growth is that we're in a position where we can't set a set schedule. Everything changes every session. There's that 8-week rotation. It kind of puts our teams where, think about the people that are involved in that meeting. I mean, they're not on the call today, but it's
Right.
3 or 4 members of student services. How many members of the academics team? Wanda, it's you and Jenny sometimes, both clinical coordinators.
That's right.
I mean, our whole campus comes together in so many different ways. It's pretty unique. It's really cool.
Your comment just gave me the chills because it's so it's so
Sure.
profound. When you think of like the adage, it takes a village. Oh, it certainly does. And we just do these things so organically. We partner, we collaborate, we run things by one another. And I think what's most critical is we include all the right people. Making sure that the stakeholders and are involved in the decision and the discussion. Let's face it, going right back into our improv theme, we don't have one set playbook by which we manage and handle every situation that comes at us. It doesn't exist.
Right.
What we do is we make really good decisions based on history and really looking at our strategic priorities, the organizational goals, and really doing right by each other and the students in everything that we do. I mean, I think of teach values, teamwork. The T in teach is for teamwork. And
Sure.
we, the campus, we exude teamwork. Even if we, for the introverts, that may not be first to kind of want to be in a team or speak up, everybody's opinion matters. Everybody is essential. And I feel like that sense of belonging, really, it happens there time and time again, from scheduling meeting to our campus persistence and retention meeting, where we have national academic colleagues now that are joining that meeting to really kind of gauge our processes. And I mean, that's incredible to me.
Yeah. No, I know. I really love every time that we start to collaborate with people outside of our campus. I just love that aspect of growth. The closer that we get to our national partners, our deans of faculty on the online coursework, right? All of the people that kind of join in on these meetings. In student services, we interact so much more frequently now with our national partners, and it just has allowed us to, through those relationships, kind of tying it all back, it allows us to innovate and accommodate the growth. And it allows us to improvise, right? But improvise with that team effort. And that's really what makes it successful. So
I agree, John. Speaking of the national team, the clinical coordination department does a lot of collaboration with our national team as well, because online we have our DNP as well as the MSN programs. And, there may be some instances where our national clinical coordinators may connect with us, and we can share different clinical partners back and forth with each other. So that's where, again, we're tying it back to network, and we're tying it back to collaboration. So it all works hand in hand.
Definitely.
I feel like we can kind of parse out every one of the letters from teach values. We hit on T for teamwork, energy. We all show up with energy. We just do. And it's not caffeinated energy. It's that passion, and it's from our heart. I know it is. While A is very important, accountability, I'm going right over to C, which is community, right? That sense of community, belongingness, connectedness, relationships, that's in our DNA. Right. And, we make the students kind of, how do I want to say it? I was going to say, like, they are the life's blood of our campus. And even though we are now not on campus and we're in this virtual platform, they're still feeling supported. There's nothing more fulfilling to me than getting the emails from students that have maybe passed a course or completed the program or found their dream job. Like, gosh, if that's not the cherry on top for a dean, nothing is. And without having just out of this world stage partners like you guys and your respective teams, it couldn't happen. It just couldn't happen.
No, I totally agree. And I thank you guys every day for letting me be a part, and for kind of going through this wild ride together. It's awesome that we can share this experience. So thank you.
Likewise. And I truly think, Susan, that when all three teams come together, it increases our productivity. We are able to learn from each and every single one another, because we all have different expertises. But when we come together and we collaborate, that just makes us a more efficient power team. So it's great.
Wow, I love it. We kind of transcended from super team to power team. See, I really dig that. With that, I would like to say thank you, to you guys, to our campus who's given us the support to go ahead and share our message. And then clearly to our audience, thank you to everybody for joining in the session, realizing how important it is. And please be sure to join us next week for our mastermind session. Be very well.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.